So these are beautifully browned. Side note, one of the things I learned when I was in culinary school was that most people, at least they say Americans, we tend to, don't get upset, underbake things. Um, but, traditionally things need to be nice and brown. Okay, preparing to make Gateau Anna. In here we have, I'm making a double batch. So this is 2 cups flour, 2 tablespoons of baking powder, and a half teaspoon of salt, getting ready to be sifted. These are the apples and pears I'm going to use. I'm making a double batch. So we have 4 pears and 4 Granny Smith apples. These are beautiful Granny Smith apples. They've got a little bit of redness to them. I have not normally seen that, but I'll be coring and slicing these. We're going to leave the skins on. Okay, so now I am slicing up. I've washed the apples and the pears and I'm slicing them up. I just want to show you. So I cut them into quarters and then I turn them on their side and slice out this part, the interior. And then I make smaller slices about like this that we're going to use for Gateau Anna. Here are all of our apples and pears, all beautifully sliced up and ready to go. Okay, so I'm putting this butter on to melt. Again, I'm doing a double recipe, so it's going to be a cup of butter. Just put that on to melt while I get the eggs and sugar ready to whip. Okay, I've got the whisk attachment on the KitchenAid mixer. Go KitchenAid, gotta have one of those. And then I've got 4 eggs and 1.5 cups sugar in here, and I'm going to now turn this on. And we're going to whisk that for a while until it gets nice and thick. I'll show you that in a few minutes, about 7 minutes. You're going to have to turn it up. That's getting very thick and light and fluffy. It's almost ready. So we've got our sifted flour, baking powder, and salt. We've got our melted butter where I added in the rum. So that was 3 tablespoons of rum. We've got our sliced fruit. We have our prepared springform pans, 2 of them, because we're making 2. And in a minute, we're going to bring over the eggs and sugar all mixed up. Okay, so I've declared this done. I'm going to just lift that up. You can see it's kind of thick. All ready to go. Okay, now we've got our egg mixture. So the process is flour gets folded first of all, sprinkle it over the top of your egg mixture, little by little here, just like I'm doing, and then I'm going to fold it in. One of those times when I wish I had somebody else to hold the camera, but we don't. So I'm going to fold that in lightly, and then I'll come right back to you, show you how that all works out. So I'm about halfway done mixing it. I'm just making long strokes with the spatula around the edge and folding it in. I'm going to keep doing that a few more times. I don't want to overmix this. And now I'm going to pour in the butter, and I'm going to pour that in really slowly while I'm mixing. So I poured in a little bit of the butter, and you can see it kind of pools around. So again, make really gentle folding patterns with the spatula, always going all the way around the edge. And I'll fold in a little more of the butter, and then we'll be there. Okay, I put in the rest of the butter. You can see it's still not quite all the way together, but I wanted to show it to you so you could see how it kind of looked. Okay, now it's together. You can kind of see there's still a little bit of a sheen to it, but it's definitely all the butter is incorporated. The next thing I'm going to do is fold in the apples and the pears. So I had to transfer everything into a bigger bowl, and actually the best way to do this is to put the pears and apples in first, so most of them went in first, and then the mixture, and then the rest on top, and now I'm going to mix it all up. Again, be sure you've got a big enough bowl for this. I actually think this is great you can see this, because if you were making it at home, you might look at it and think, wow, that looks really weird. But honestly, that's about how it looks. The pears and apples will bake down, and it becomes a really beautiful, wonderful cake, but it does look a little strange. Next, I'm going to put this all right into my greased springform pans, and then we'll put it in the oven. So there they are, guys. I have now put them in the oven, more or less equal, more or less flat on top, and ready to go at 350 for about 40 to 45 minutes. Okay, guys, oven check. I just want you to see how pretty these are. See, they have raised up a little bit. I'm going to close it back up. They have been in there just over half an hour now, not quite done.
Okay, timer went off. These are looking gorgeous. I'm taking them out now.
I'm going to check them with a knife, but I'm 95% sure these are ready to go. I'm going to leave them sitting in their springform pans for a while, probably an hour or so, maybe longer, until they're fully cool before I remove them. So I just pushed this knife in here a minute ago. No problem. Comes out. It's clean. Very good. It's ready to go. Can't wait to eat these. These are great. Actually, by the way, the next thing I'm going to put in here is the recipe for a brandy cream sauce that goes with this. And that is basically my custard recipe, which is thinned out a little bit with some cream and a little bit of brandy. And it's beautiful with this Gateau Anna.